Deidre here. I mentioned in my last video, if you happen to see it, that I had made a second journal that was like a sister to my gratitude journal, and so I wanted to show it to you now, and then this will be in my shop. So by the time this video goes up, I'll have a link down below for you to go check it out in my shop if you're interested. So as I explained in my last video, I won't go into detail, so if you missed it, you can go back and see my last video about my whole gratitude journal journey. You want to call it that? I had so much fun making it and then using it that I decided, you know, I really wanted to make another one to share. So I have several of these. These are vintage seed packets, and so I made a twin, basically. So it is a hardback fabric spine, and then I used scrapbook paper on the back, some ribbon, and some rickrack, both on the front and the back, and it just held closed with a piece of elastic ruffle with a vintage button. Let me see if I can, it's, you know, with it being so dark it's hard to see. I don't know if you can actually see that, but it's a really beautiful little vintage black button that's in the center of that rosette. And I like to put it on where the rosette is on the spine, but again, that's obviously up to you how you want to do it, but that's how I've been doing it. And there's plenty of stretch here, so as this little journal gets more chunky, it will definitely hold. I'll measure it for you. 4.5 by 3.25 is what it measures, and it's quite chunky. It's about 2 inches thick. So as you add to it, it's going to get quite chunky, but there's plenty of room for expansion. If you can see that, I left, there's room here in between each signature, so there's room to add pictures and whatever, lots of paper if you want to. So I'll talk about the charms first, because I think, can you see those? No, maybe not. Okay, I'll bring it up to the camera. So I made charms out of different textiles. This is a wool felt tomato, and this is a bookmark. I'll show you that in just a minute. It's a crocheted bookmark. Here's some peas in a pod, and it's all wool felt pod with little wool felt peas, a crocheted flower, and a, okay, let me get this paper off my finger, and a carrot, a little wool carrot. And as I mentioned in my last video, the theme, the reason why I chose the vintage seed journal was that, or seed packet for my journal, is that gratitude has really helped me grow as a person. So to me, it meant a lot. So if that connects with you too, this might be a journal that you might really like to use as a gratitude journal. Of course, you could use it for any kind of journal. It would be great for any use. The little crocheted bookmark, let me find it. Where did it go? Where are you? I was playing with this earlier and I should have made sure it wasn't. Oh yeah, it's in between there. Okay, there it is. It is a cotton thread type yarn that I crocheted a little strand of leaves like a vine. So again, to me, this just symbolizes growth. And then since it's a bookmark, you can just mark your spot wherever you want it to be. So I kept it fairly simple. There's not a lot of extra frou-frou kind of stuff in here, partially because that's just my style, and partially too, I wanted to leave plenty of room for you to customize it even more the way you want. That's avocado dyed paper that I typed gratitude onto, and this is a velvet paper. It's ready for it to be journaled on as a tag with, this is a vintage cotton netting. Oh, what is that called? It just left me. Okay, it'll come back to me in a minute. Anyway, this came from a very old piece of clothing. It's Very nice. Well, I mean, nice if you like vintage textiles, nice. It's a little delicate. And then this is scrapbook paper with a gold print on it, and some more of that ruffle that I made the little elastic tie out of. And then I just used a blend of old and new papers. So this is old. This is an old price tag, ready for you to journal on or whatever you want to do with it. I like to use them as journaling cards, but you could use it for whatever you want, or you could use it in another journal if you'd rather. Some children's handwriting paper. This is scrapbook paper. And some more children's journaling paper. I really like doing fold outs in little books, especially because then I have more space, especially for like multiple pictures or whatever. Like I haven't actually put it in my gratitude journal yet, but I have some pictures that I've taken specifically for certain things that have happened recently, and I'm planning on putting them in my in one of my fold outs. So then I'll have room for photographs, and then also to journal whatever that I'm wanting to journal about. This is beautiful pink paper. I love this paper. Again, it's a fold out. And more scrapbook paper. And then I used various things as little tabs in here. So this is fabric. This is a vintage, I don't know if, probably depends on your age if you remember what A&P markets were. And then this was for the meat counter, I believe, where you pulled a ticket to, to get your number in line for service. So that's what that is. It's a real genuine vintage ticket. And then inside this envelope, I have some quotes that I have typed onto a cotton rag. It's a vintage typewriter paper, and I've typed up quotes that are all about gratitude. And I won't pull them all out so they can be a surprise, but they're really great. I love using them in my journal in just various places, or you could use them in another journal, or you could use them, to make cards for somebody or whatever. I mean, obviously that's your prerogative, but I included them in here so that if you wanted to put them in the journal, you could, or use them elsewhere. And then this is a big fold out. Make sure that's in frame there. And then from this side, you can see that this is this scrapbook paper. I don't think it's handmade, but it feels a lot like handmade paper. And then here's a little tag that has grateful, where I used the same vintage typewriting rag paper, and then I just made a little tag. And then this, another big fold out. I'm not kidding when I say I love fold outs. I do. This is oh sorry, my camera's not focusing again. This is from actually a can of tomatoes that it's not vintage or anything. You can tell with the barcode, but I loved the vintage style artwork on the front. I just thought it was really cute, so I saved it. It's been in my stash a while. And I lined the back with some of my favorite Japanese paper that's really lightweight and really strong. So it's ready. It's nice and strong and sturdy, but not too thick. So it's ready to like mega journal on. This is like a mega journal section or whatever you want to do there. But yeah, so I kind of wish that I would have remembered about this and put this in my gratitude journal. So I'll be real frank with you. I'm kind of jelly that it's in this one, but okay. But I love you. That's why I put it in here. So anywho, okay, another fold out that I actually sewed in another piece of paper to the music paper to make it bigger. And here's a journaling card, and this is a real genuine vintage label, Red Cross Pharmacy label that's on here. And I made this a big journaling card. This is a newer paper. It's like a check, what checks are printed on. And I just have this attached to a little pocket page right here. Another journaling card here with some sewing and more typewritten message. This is avocado dyed paper. Just more similar papers again. This one I trimmed in some fabric. Reinforce the edges there a little bit. This one is also a vintage price tag. It's not as old as some of the other ones that I have in here, like the Walgreens one. I'm guessing it's from the 60s, but I don't know. I'm not sure. The other side of that flip out. And then this one is just a plain piece, but this little tab up here is from the seed packet. This is handmade paper. It's beautiful. I love this paper. I'll be sad when it's gone because I love it so much. I don't know if you can, it picks up the silver dots. It's just beautiful. And some vintage dictionary paper with a tab with a little apple button. Another fold out. And these little flowers my friend Carla sent me, I just love them. I like to use them. And then this is just a little pearl for the center. Okay, and then this is a little, this is supposed to be stuck somewhere else. This is just a journaling page that's supposed to be in a pocket. I'm not sure why it's not in a pocket, but that's what that is. This is some of that nice typewriting paper. It's from a little bitty French to English dictionary. Another journaling card there. This is some handmade paper. It's really thick and nice. Fold out, fabric tab. Some more papers. This is the other side of that. I don't think I mentioned that, did I, when we went through it? But it's for testing sheet. Some of my vintage, I think this is from the 40s, this fabric. Came from vintage children's clothing that was in really sad shape. The other side of that. Handmade paper, if I can get my fingers to work. And these are little pockets. That's where this is supposed to go. And some more of that velveteen type paper. I love that paper. I love it so much, actually. I want to get more of it. And this is fold out as well. And I did put one quote in here. Joy is the simplest form of gratitude. Love that quote. And here's just a piece of paper ready to, I layered it. It's ready for you to journal right on top. Another little journaling piece of paper from an old Rolodex. And then this is a fold out, big fold out. So on this side, it's pages ready to journal on top of. This is from a vintage gardening book. And then on this side, there are some pockets with some journaling stuff ready to use. And then a little heart that's attached to that. This is a silk tab. lace on this vintage dictionary page. Another fold out here. More music paper with a little pocket right there. And then the back pocket holds another journaling page. Big, lots of generous space to journal on. So there's lots of space there. You can tuck it right back there in the back pocket. And that's that. That's the whole journal. I'm not sure how many pages are in here. I will count them and put that in the listing. But as you can see, there's a lot of space in here to collect your thoughts, to write down your words of gratitude or whatever you choose to use it for. And anyway, I hope you enjoyed it, and I appreciate you watching, and I appreciate your support so much. And I will see you next time.